did this, I previewed something like 50 or so cards that were revealed at that point. Now it's 100 out of 135, and we will get the remaining ones very soon. It's just that a bunch of cards haven't been confirmed yet. Anyways, the set will be officially released on 10th, so in a few days. And it will be fully available. I think we already had an update, I mean a patch, preparing us for this new expansion. So you, same as me, are looking right now at Druid cards, right?
Yep.
So basically, all you see is that they're trying to push this, not just Jade Druid, but Control Taunt Druid. With
I
Defrados
like
and
this actually more. The Jade Druid was interesting, but I feel like it's too streamlined and not that interesting to play. So I like at least the Malfurion. I like all the Dead Knight cards and the Ultimate Infestation. Hadronox seems also like enabler for some decks, but I'm not as excited for it.
yeah. And as for spreading plug, you probably haven't seen it in action. Basically, the way it works is that if their opponent's board is full of some tokens, so they have like seven tokens or whatever, right? For example, if
Mm.
they play something like Onyxia, right? And they fill the board, right? So
Yes, so you cast it until you have it repeats until you have enough
yeah,
same amount of creatures as your opponent.
yeah,
That's actually pretty cool and interesting. Yeah,
that I
but
think is
web
pretty
weave is
insane.
boring. Yeah,
Uh,
that's more interesting. I originally thought it was only two, but now that you said, yeah, it makes sense and it's interesting. I actually like all of these repeat cards. They all seem quite nice.
yeah, me too. And the Druid of the Swarm is actually a pretty good 2-drop for this sort of controlish taunt deck.
Which
Because
one?
the
Twiddle,
2-drop,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's both a removal if you need it and a roadblock if opponent is too fast. I don't know how fast aggressive decks will be, but yeah, it's interesting. I like this model. I like Druid was my favorite class from the start, but lately it was kind of boring-ish. So
Well,
now it might actually be interesting again.
I've played a ton of Token Aggro Druid,
Yeah.
so I didn't really fancy Jade Druid, even though it was a really good tournament deck. But on ladder, I think the Token Druid was much better. Right, I don't think the Crypt Lord will be actually in those decks. I think the Dark Creeper is just much better, and then the Stone Hill. I don't
Yeah.
think you need the Crypt Lord that much. You already have really good options for the free drop taunt.
Yeah, and Fate Spinner also seems kind of interesting. We skipped that.
Which one? Ah, the Face
Fate
Spinner.
Spinner. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
No, probably not that strong, but quite interesting since it is after all a AOE for druid
yeah.
and a creature. So
Yeah, so it could work either defensively or aggressively, actually.
yeah,
For example, if you started off with that 2 mana 2/2 from the previous set that gave you a 5 attacker to your hand, if you had one in your hand already, you
mm,
remember that one?
no, I don't. Well, partially.
Yeah, so it's a 2/2 for 2, and when it comes in, it gives you a random. I think it's a random. I don't think it's a discover. Gives you a random 5 attack creature, well minion, if you already had one 5 attack in hand.
Mm,
So there's a chance actually that this control taunt Defrattle Druid will also be able to incorporate the Druid quest.
mm. And oh yeah, there is that 1/4 3 mana 1/4 taunt. Actually, my favorite card lately.
Stonehill Defender or whatever.
Yeah, I drafted three of those in last arena run.
My last arena run, just today, I hoped to complete one rogue daily quest, but then ended up taking shaman because other options weren't that great. But yeah, ended up on shaman with 4 volcanoes.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
AoE deck.
yeah. Yeah, I needed only 2 in the game I had time to play. Alright, Hunter then.
Also more controlish cards.
Yeah, well, I actually was one of the stupid guys who tried back in the day, like try Reno Hunter. I actually tried it and actually enjoyed it quite a bit, but unfortunately it wasn't really a good deck. And yeah, I'm happy to see this kind of a mid-range control push. Right now, I don't know, maybe not enough of a capability. The new Secret Lake is probably pretty good. What I'm looking forward to doing is that we'll think of this format a legendary, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have the Emperor Tourism, so we can't discount our stuff to go completely nuts. But what we can do is that if we do have enough of removal and tricks in our deck, right? So there could be the dream scenario, like for Jade Druid, for example. So you get this 4 mana legendary on board, then you get the Huntress that makes your secret 0, right?
Mm.
And then let's say you have Gadgetzan as well, Auctioneer on board.
Well, yeah, I think he's just good by himself with a few secrets. He's just seems that strong
Well,
because even at at turn 6, you just play him, you play secret, and you're glad.
yeah. Then think it will. So think about it. It's a 5/4 for 4, which is already pretty good. And then if you let's say you play turn 3 Huntress, it's a 3/4 body. It doesn't get killed, right? That easily on turn 3, for example, outside of Priest maybe,
And Shaman.
and Shaman, yeah, sure. And then on turn 4 you play this, and then you just dump a bunch of secrets and get more, and dump them as well, so you become this kind of like secret paladin mode, in a way.
Yeah,
The
this
Christmas
seems
tree.
like this still seems less deranged than Secret Paladin was, so it's kind of interesting to see what happens with this.
More on that later once we get to the new mage cards.
Okay.
Um, okay, Bowman is kind of interesting. It's also like pretty cool with Barnes.
Which one?
Barnes.
No, I mean, which card are you talking
The
about from the
7
new
drop.
card?
The 7 drop from Hunter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh,
Get this out with Barnes.
yeah, if you do, then it's good, but with bonds you have better options. This feels like this is a bit too expensive to be good, I think.
Well, you just have this 5 drop which says like your defretals cost 2 less.
Mm, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm too skeptical, but I kind of look at 7 mana cost and don't see immediate impact on the board, and feel kind
Well,
of
it's
dispirited
no,
about
you
this.
should evaluate this like Savannah High main. That's basically it. It's a big
Even
body.
if I look at it as a Savannah Heinemann that costs 1 mana more, I don't think I like this. Like I see the combo potential, I see that it's interesting, but I'm skeptical about it.
Do
People can prove me wrong, but I'm
okay.
skeptical.
We'll see. I kind of like it. Uh, I like probably all the Hunter cards so far, except that maybe like Play Dead is a bit too cute, literally and figuratively. The 1 drop below.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So at least it does something, but yeah, I don't see it being that good. Maybe,
Hmm.
well, actually, you know, there are plenty of good death battle effects, so this card might actually surprise.
Yeah. And the tracker, the free mana 2/2. So
Yeah, I love that.
think about it. What I just told you. If we don't even consider all the defretals and so on, and we just think about this 4 mana legendary, the Professor, and then the Huntress that makes Secrets cost 0, and the Gadgetzin, so you can consistently hit that combo.
Well, I overall like tutor effects. Finally, proper tutor effects in
Well, not
Hearthstone.
finally. Actually, in Ongoro, there's been the mage one, the Glyph, kind of a tutor, and then actual tutor in form of divine. What is it? Visions for
Yeah, but the
priest.
more
Yeah,
the better. The more the better.
true that. But yeah, you
Plus,
can also find barns with this, and yeah, like a lot of value coming from this guy, even though the stats are not that great.
yeah. Well, for Control Hunter, I think this is still fine.
Yeah, well, if it actually becomes a thing.
Yeah.
Alright, on to mage. Well, Jane is pretty crazy, I'll give you that, and she fits naturally into the control mage
Yeah.
builds. Just naturally.
Yeah. Well, all like of these cards seem kind of crazy. It's just a question of which ones will end up seeing play and which don't, and I kind of feel like all of them will see some play.
I'm not sure. So the dragon is kind of like even though it's good stats, and then it gives you those tokens,
Yeah.
and then the
At
tokens
least
give
one
you random
legendary.
legendaries. Yeah.
Yeah, one legendary I don't necessarily have to craft.
Yeah, sure. And now speaking of the Secret Paladin and then Secret Hunter and Secret Mage and whatever, so this Glacial Mysteries, well, it's not great value, right? When you think about it, just as a card in general, but then if you remind yourself of the fact that the same control mage that can sometimes play at least like 3 different secrets, like 1 barrier, 2 blocks, and one counter spell. So you can maybe add 1 copy of the new secret as well. And the cool part about this spell is that with Medivh, it's another like good 8-drop spell,
Yeah, I mean it's strong. It's interesting. I'm not a fan of mage secrets. I mean it's the 3 mana, as in they're strong, but I don't like the gameplay they provide, as in aesthetically.
Hmm. I actually think it will be more featured in this hybrid tempo builds that still run, some good late game like Medivh, for example, and maybe even Antonatus, and probably not Power Blast, but well, just think about it in the Secret Aggro build, and then this being as a kind of a top end, especially if you play Medivh there as well. But you're not like control, you're more like just tempo value.
Yeah, this is gonna be strong, like champion, like Paladin secret deck demonstrated how strong this can be, and this is you're getting a lot of value out of this if you have more than 2 secrets given from this. So this is gonna be a very strong card
Yeah.
and played in a lot of decks. That's like obvious.
Simulacrum, the next one on the right, I
Co-
think we'll see more play in Wild, because then there you can, have better, get better value out of it, basically by just copying something like Reno or Kazakus or Braun.
Don't you just get cheap giants out of this?
Well, you can do that too. So if you think of Arcane Giants, then
Yeah.
I suppose you can think of that card having some potential in Standard, but I think it will mostly do waves in Wild for Reno Mage.
Mm.
Just
Well,
copying Reno or Kazakus. Okay,
I
there
don't.
is there is the 3 mana legendary that kind of does that, but it's more tricky. This one being a spell probably is a much better thing. We'll see.
I like it's okay-ish, but I mean it's a combo fodder and making giving you more options. But like this is also one of those things I don't really like.
Well, you know, most of people when looking at this card will probably think about Exodia Mage, the Quest Mage combo, the
Mm,
what 2-turn kill
yeah.
with the time warp, just
Well,
extra combo piece.
yeah, like this is like card is screaming, I am combo. I want to break some things.
Right. Conjure, well, kind of like it, I suppose
Yeah,
so.
it's fun. If it
But
wasn't a obvious mirror image because opponent knows what you have, it would be even better, but that's still fun.
yeah, well, I think it has more potential in, again, in the Wild Temple Mage because of the Flame Walker, Flame Waker, yeah. In standard, I don't know. Outside of Antonidas, there is nothing really that you know synergizes with it directly.
All those mind games where you play secret after this and it wasn't mirror image.
No, you're confusing it with the secrets. It's not the mirror entity. It's the image. It's the
Okay,
one
yeah.
mana
That
spell.
I thought it was. Oh yeah, okay. Then this is much. For some reason I confused it. Okay, then this is. Then I actually quite like this card. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Then this is nice. If it's giving 2/0/2s for 5 mana, yeah, this feels actually in that case like quite a nice card.
Maybe you would still play it in this control match with the Frost Jaina. I don't know. Possibly.
Like this is giving you time to get to those high costs,
We'll
so
see.
it's
Maybe. So
and it's a
the
creature and a spell at the same time.
and as for Apprentice, outside of some weird like secret aggro mage, I could see it as a one-off as a tech card in Control Mage for tournaments in your lineup if you want to target and counter like Control Paladin or just a Mirror Mage.
In a mirror match, 2 health is kinda the doesn't survive that much. I mean, 3 mana, 3/2. If it was 3/3, then I would understand, but 3/2 just dies too easily. So
So together with one neutral card, the new kind of load hab, the 6 mana 5/5 neutral that makes their spells cost 2 more, right? While it's in play. So think about that guy plus Apprentice and plus, well, the typical tempo mage card, and then the next two ones to the right of the Apprentice, the Ice Walker and Cold Grave.
like Ice Walker seems really interesting and is quite strong. And Wraith is, and I'm not sure about Wraith. It requires a bit too much to work. At least I haven't played enough yet, so don't know.
Yeah, well, think about it. You can curve out with Ice Walker into Cold Grave, which is not spectacular, but still. But
No, you can't because you're not drawing anything from Cold Wraith.
even if you have to just slam it on turn 3, it's fine, I think. That's the point. It's like those priest cards.
Yeah, I mean, like the reason I don't like Cold Wraith is it's conditional, as in you have to like you already have to have drawn your good cards and frozen their stuff. So you
Well,
already need.
Frostbolt. Frostbolt into Cold Wrath, perfect combo.
Yeah, I mean, I see the potential, but again, I think it doesn't seem that strong.
Well, you may have some skepticism, but think of that 1 mana removal.
The uh, the Breath of Sindragosa.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
And,
that's
and, and, let's say you went like turn 2 Apprentice, the old one, so that your breath will cost 0, right? So the turn 3 you can, for 0, cast breath and then cast Cold Breath.
okay. Well, if you can, let's just say that if you can consistently freeze enemy minions, then this is gonna be good. but you need to do it consistently all the time, basically. So depends if there is a deck for that, then this is going to be strong in that. But it's not for every deck. It's like for a freeze tempo mage or for a control freeze mage. For those two, like if it's not, then you're not gonna play it, of course.
I kind of like it, and I actually like this new Secret Frozen Club. It's kind of a reverse duplicate in a way. I mean, you do get two copies, but not of your own, but of theirs.
It's like it's bad for all the same reasons Mirror Entity is bad. Actually, it's a bit better in that sense, as you still get their battle cry effects and others.
I think this secret will break the mirror and also will break the control paladin matchup as well. For instance, because you'll get all those Tyrians and other legendaries and whatever he discovers from the Stonehill, right? And then you can get this out with the 8 mana spell, right? So you're probably gonna play like one counter spell, or two blocks, one barrier, and one of this, I think.
Well, it certainly gives more options. And it gives you more cards, more options.
Think about it. One of the worst scenarios, if they just spot that it's that one that you have, that secret that you have, and then they cast Doomsayer, basically roughing your board for sure, right? But then you get two Doomsayers.
So nobody does anything.
Well, it's just, of course it's gonna, I mean, it's still value, even though, I mean, you will continue the grind fast, but you still get decent value.
So is Frost Nova actually okay-ish right now with this new set?
It was actually widely played in not only in actual freeze mage but also in control mage, because the first builds of control mage were quite proactive, right? They wanted to actually get on board, but then they realized that if they don't if they don't have the package of the Doomsayer plus Frostnova, they actually lose for sure to Jade Druid. So the control mages like later started playing Nova plus the Doomsayer as well. And before that, both were in Quest Mage, in the Exodia Mage. Because there you needed to just buy all the time in the world until you get your combo assembled.
By the way, what happened to that mage? I don't think I saw it in the lists when I looked at them.
Yeah, you mean the Quest Mage, the combo mage? Yeah. Well, it just happened to be like very inconsistent, and you have hard time surviving against a lot of decks. And in addition to everything, if you just happen to play against some of the control decks, just Dirty Red is just too much. Dirty Red just pulls out Apprentice or Antonidas, and then they kill it, and then you just can't win.
Okay. So this new set kinda helps that?
A little bit, but not too much. Dirt Red will still be in the decks. Dirt Red was even in the Control Priest, and obviously the deck where you see it most of the time, that's Control Paladin and of course Quest Taunt Warrior. Okay, moving on to Paladin. So the Ulfer is pretty sick, and his hero power basically becomes the win condition as well. Because new Ulfer's hero power become like
yeah.
Well, okay, now you saw it, right? Okay.
Yeah, I actually checked it earlier this morning, forgot it, and yeah, it's sick, and it's nice.
But the other cards are not that insane in my opinion.
Yeah, like Bolivar, not that exciting. Blackguard, well, I mean, it's probably fine, but nothing too exciting either.
I actually like Blackguard quite a bit, because Paladin has like quite a lot of healing at the moment, I think. I mean, good healing. And
Yeah,
on top of everything, right? If by the time you play Uther, if you still have a Blackguard in play, because the weapon has lifesteal,
yeah, I know. I mean, the reason
so
is
they combo off pretty nicely.
Blackguard is 6 mana, so it comes late.
Yeah, but
And
it's a sizable body, and you still just have the equality, consecration, and pyromancer. So
yeah, but the point is, he comes out after turn 6, and you cannot even. And actually, only after turn 8 you can utilize his healing, unless you had something prepared. So I don't know, maybe, but again, I'm skeptical about this.
well, there could be some neutral, good mid-range creature with lifesteal. There might be.
Well, well, there is a paladin good lifesteal creature, Chillblade Champion.
Yeah, at least that.
Yeah. Well, maybe, but depends on okay, yeah, it depends on the new cards. Because with the current cards, I don't feel it as a strong card, but with new lifesteal cards, maybe yes.
Alright, I don't have like a lot to say about the other paladin cards, so we might as
I
well.
like Holy Commander quite a lot. I mean, all these tutor effects, like I like these much more than random discover effects.
Yeah, you get Tyrion at least.
Uh, Not necessarily, depending on what divine shields you have, but
But probably Tyrion plus maybe one or two more, but unlikely.
well, then it works like then it doesn't do anything if you draw them first. But I mean, yeah, it's kind of fine either way. Still 3 mana 2/2 that draws you a good card from your deck.
Yeah, shouldn't be that bad. Okay, Priest is like, I mean, has the most obscene cards in the set.
So what does this new Death Knight hero power do? Uh,
It's insane.
oh, yeah.
And just today I've been actually playing a bit of Control Priest, and I managed to win in a row a bunch of actually pretty grindy matchups. So I managed to win Jade Druids, then Miracle Rogue, and what else was that? Something else. So managed to win like three pretty grindy matchups, relatively easy, but against Jade Druid I get lucky. So it was like Cleric into turn 2 Glimmer Roots via coin, so the 3/3 that discovers a card from their deck basically. And I got Innervate so that I could on turn 3 play the Elise through Innervate. And after I traded the board a bit, then I just cast Medivh on time, and after that I just get so much value out of Medivh so that he just conceded.
Well,
So that happens. Yeah, well, not sure. I definitely do like the new Death Knight, that's for sure. But what about other cards? So imagine you're playing like Control Priest. What would you seriously consider?
Archbishop.
It's weird.
I It's weird, yeah. I mean, you can assume opponent is playing good cards, and this is making your deck bigger, so. But Priest, I don't think Priest ever had a problem with running out of cards in their deck compared to other classes, so I
Depends. It
don't really
actually
see.
depends. Especially with clerics and some other stuff. Yeah, you could be drawn quite a fair bit, and then well, it's again I think kind of a tech card for your lineup if you're
Well, yeah,
expecting to
sure.
play a bunch of control mirrors, right? Because by the time you cast it, I think there's gonna be a lot of pretty good cards in their deck left.
Yeah, so basically, if there are a lot of control mirrors
Especially
where,
against mage. Oh my god, this against mage is just bonkers. Uh,
well, yeah,
as long as they did not look at it this way. So you just note what secrets he already played, right? So let's say you know that he already like played one berry and one block, right? And then you play this guy, right? So you get the remaining block into your deck, and then you discover it with divisions.
well,
Get it?
yeah,
So they never can proc you because on top of all the healing that Priest has, against mage you just get their secrets and then you can discover them with the tutor, with the visions.
well, this still sounds quite gimmicky. Maybe like it's a good tech card, I agree, but other than that, it's situational what
Yeah, and
happens.
I wouldn't play it in the latter version of the control deck, right? But I would probably play it as a tech for tournaments because um, you can kind of like control with your lineup what you're gonna play against, and yeah. I mean, 4-6 for 7 is like pretty bad, but yeah, in control mirrors is gonna be pretty nice. So the Obsidian statue is kind of interesting.
Yeah, feels like he's a bit expensive, but still, it seems like a strong card. As long as nobody steals it from you,
Hmm. Which you can't.
like in the next card, which is actually seems nice.
I don't know. It's weird. You still take damage,
It's
and
like corruption, but you get the creature.
yeah, sort of.
Well,
Yeah.
it's exactly what it is. It's a corruption, but you get the creature that would die. Like it doesn't die, you just get it.
So it's a 2 for 1 still.
Yes.
And the cool part, you can also like discover it with visions.
Yeah.
For example, if let's say they play a fairy that is not really threatening to kill you anytime soon, then you go visions and find this and cast it. So yeah, why not? Maybe it will be replacing mind control in those control lists, even though the control is much more comfortable, and then it gives you a 10 drop from the Utesh, the weapon. So
It depends on how fast you need the mind control and how fast the metagame is. This adds more options. It's nice.
it's just that with this card, you once you cast it, you still can do something else during your turn. That's the
Yeah.
good part about it. You can, let's
Freeze
say,
it.
um, I'm not sure I like the essence, but people
Yeah,
said that getting like a random Doomsayer is also funny.
it's funny, but I think it's a bit too expensive, and I don't feel it's that good.
But you
Maybe
can,
there is some combo. Again, this feels like a card that has some random combo potential, but doesn't feel like it's good by itself.
mm,
I like Devour Mind as it basically thought steal for 3 cards.
yeah, good card advantage, right?
Yeah, very good.
And especially considering that in those decks, so that you can actually find this with divisions again, and then once you drop Lyra with an elemental the same turn, you can just go nuts again. And the same for Servitude actually.
Yeah,
So let's say you cast Lyra with an elemental, you get some value, but okay, you didn't get a completely busted turn, and then they kill Lyra, and then you get to get her again.
yeah, like it's obvious that the card is decent.
Yeah, question
So
is like how to find space for all of that stuff.
yes, just play Highlander.
Yeah, Kazaku's Priest is a thing, actually. Even though only Kibler can play it and win with it.
Well,
Currently.
with new cards, it becomes a bit easier, right?
Yeah. And actually, the Acolyte of Agony is also pretty sweet, so... Yeah, I mean, dies easily, though... Actually, other classes, for example, some... why does Acolyte is not in Warlock? Warlock would need this way more, because,
Because to exactly because of that, it
in
might
Priest,
become.
in Priest you already have this, 4-mana 3/6. It gets you a bunch of life back.
That's the point. If Warlock has too much of a good lifesteal, it becomes like too good. The hero power becomes too good, and otherwise, the cards with drawback don't have that drawback anymore. Basically.
Alright, the Spirit Slash is much worse than the Warlock removal spell, but then again, lifesteal is pretty huge on this one.
Yeah.
Not sure if it will be a main deck card. Probably you will play it as attack for your leather version, just to hedge against Allegro. But yeah, if the Tones Druid becomes a thing, then I think decks like, let's say, Pirate Warrior will have a bit of a trouble. And then perhaps Burn Mage, I mean, Controlled Burn Mage will become more of a thing, because you can still, win those mid-range matchups without actually, attacking through the taunts too much.
Mm.
Alright, Rogue. Well, the second card in there in the first row is kind of a mockery thing.
Actually, I actually like that because quite often in Rogue, I found that if you have too many preparations in hand, they feel kind of useless.
But check the name of the card.
Yeah, and what about it? Liliana of S? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
that's it basically. But yeah, New Valyria is pretty nice, I should say, and a lot of cards are relatively good. The question is that I have doubts that this archetype will be playable and constructed. That's my problem with slow grindy priest, which is not miracle build.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Rogue just, other than Quest Rogue, feels like not that.
Well,
Well,
Miracle Rock was pretty good, and it's been proven a good
yeah.
tournament deck and good ladder deck.
Yeah, what I mean to say is that the new cards for Rogue, like you said, other than legendaries, I don't see anything that would catch my eye or feel too interesting. Maybe the two mythics will be good, but right now Lilian is kinda okayish, but not that good. But yeah, I'm not even sure Rogue needs that much help, to be honest either.
Okay, well, Shaman is gonna be pretty interesting.
Let me see. Discord notifications. So uh,
Freeze Shaman. How about that?
mm, yeah,
And then think of this giant in Wild in your stereotypical aggro shaman.
mm, haven't played it that much, so but yeah, seems interesting with the elemental or with whatever.
Yeah, even in standard you do get quite a few overloads. Starting from the storm to volcano to the healer. Enough of ways to make it cheaper even in the control shell.
Yeah.
But the cool part about the legendary, right? The one that gives you copies is that so you can freeze your own guys and get copies of them.
Well, yeah, after the attack, it's fine to do it. So, yeah, that's nice. Like, just the copy 1 mana 2/1, play it, freeze it, play it, freeze it, play it, freeze it.
Yeah, things like that. and then the weapon becomes like pretty cool. And yeah, I think it will be a thing, even though Jades have been pretty nice way to grind out games.
Mainly because of the 4 mana for burn spell.
Because of a lot of things, because of Aya, and just because, having this
Yeah.
inevitability, especially with Spirit Echo, the 3 mana spell that gives your guy Death Rattle, put them back to your hand when they die.
Yeah, like I I don't actually see it, at least right now. It feels fun, but I don't see Jade becoming less like this becoming better than Jade.
Let's see. One thing I know for sure, the new Thrall will be definitely in the Evolved Token Shaman, which is already the best deck currently in Standard.
Yeah.
Because it's an aggro deck that can grind games and can generate a lot of value.
So are we getting like the main question is how fast are we getting balance patch after this?
So you think that new Thrall is a big deal for the token Evolved Shaman, and
Well,
then
if it is, and it is like it's already one of the best things. I don't know
it's the
if
best deck
yeah,
in standards right
well,
now.
other decks did get control tools, so they can technically outgrind it. But getting this legendary, and what's the new hero power, by the way, for this one?
It's kind of a mini Evolve.
Yeah, but without getting totems, it's there are downsides as well. So I
Let's
don't
see.
know. Okay, it might not be that bad, but still, like as in, I don't. This year will see play, but it's not as good as it seems on the first look.
We shall see. But yeah, having basically a what is it? Death Lord with Overload is kind of nice.
Mm. Well, yeah,
And then in addition to this Burlock, the 2 mana spell that makes you draw 2 Murlocs into your hand, well, think about the Coiling Oracle at the very least,
yeah.
right?
So well, yeah, well, it's yeah.
Yeah, and you can do a cute thing in perhaps well, also aggro Murloc Shaman is kind of a thing, even though it didn't get much traction. But this could give it like pretty good uh, pump. The ice fishing and also another Murloc that's actually playable.
I like that it draws the AOE Murloc, the one that deals to
Oh
everything.
yeah, right, right. So basically, if you think of a control shaman, I mean freeze control shaman, the ice fishing could get you the AOE Murloc and also the coiling oracle to get more
Yeah.
gas going. Because you will have a lot of AoE and a lot of value that are built in like 2 for 1s or 3 for 1s. So you don't mind giving them cards, I think.
Yeah.
And then you can get a lot of extra value once you cast Morobi and then freeze something and get those copies and so on.
Well, overall, all these tutor cards are nice to spice things up, as you have more control of what you draw with your draw spells, and basically tutor.
Alright, let's speed up. So Warlock. Not really excited about anything here except for the Defile, a pretty good 2 mana AoE, and then I kinda like the 1 drop. It can naturally goes into Zoo, but so far doesn't seem like Zoo will get enough support.
Mm,
So the Defile is definitely crazy, and then the 1 drop is really good value because you also have the X, that you played in Zoo in Standard.
yeah.
So there is that. But other than that, it's kind of iffy. Well,
Yeah.
okay,
Well, at
whole
least
thing
we
is interesting, but I don't think it's that good.
at least we still don't know what's the with the Dead Knight card for this, so that might be interesting as well.
I think it was revealed somewhere, but it wasn't confirmed. But I'm not sure. And then what I kind of don't like is that outside of there are very few payoff cards outside of the quest to discard. So there is the free from what it was Karajan, I think, and then the legendary from Ungoro, the 2-drop. But that's about it. Really a lot of cards that make you discard, but outside of the quest and the corrosion cards, pretty much nothing as a payoff for the discard. So I want to see more payoff cards and not so many enablers.
Well, it's a bit dangerous as well, but yeah, it's kinda. There was the 4 mana 4 damage spell, but that's not in the standard, so
I think actually the Dreadlord will be quite played in any form of control warlock.
yeah, it's playable, but still. So, oh,
Well,
we don't know Warrior Dead Knight either. Okay.
yeah, not yet. As for warrior, well, um, Rodface is gonna be pretty crazy and people will hate it because of the crazy RNG.
Yeah, I already hate it.
Yeah. Especially because there's so many cards now in Warlock that so um, so many new Warlock cards that ping. But my favorite Warlock, I mean Warrior card so far probably would be Deadman's Hand. That's just so bonkers, especially if you cast it with already another copy in your hand. So fatigue control warrior gonna be a thing, I think.
Mm, maybe. I'm not excited for that. Let's just say, even if it is gonna end up being the thing, I'm gonna be quite sad.
So you just win the fatigue. That's it.
Yeah, that's like, at least the priest has the card to shuffle opponent's deck,
Yeah.
so it's not that horrible. But I still like fatigue warrior is one of the worst things in Hearthstone.
Makes for a good tournament deck when your time is
Mm,
not limited and you just need to win the match.
yeah, but still, it's boring.
It's annoying to play against, that's for sure.
And it's boring.
Well, only for you, but unless you play it yourself.
Even if you play it against your opponent, it's also kind of mind-numbing.
Alright, so on to neutrals. Not a fan of any of the legendaries, that's for sure, in that part.
Um, I don't know. It depends. They are actually they are good if that slot is empty.
Yeah, but how often would that be? You're not gonna play them if, I mean, you're not gonna build your deck around them. I just don't see it. I think it's bad value.
Like, for example, Prince Kaleseth is actually good if your deck is all 1-drops. For example, Warlock Zoo with all 1-drops
Okay, I could
and
see
three
that.
drops.
But you're not gonna play it in Hunter, you're not gonna play it in, what is that? Well, actually, you might play it in Mage, because you don't really have that many, like, I know you do have. You do have.
Yes. Usually you do want 2-drops, but if you aren't running them, or if you can cut them, then he's actually decent. And Prince Valanar is also quite good if you don't have 4-drops. So, like, they aren't too impressive, but if you're already low on those, you might actually consider cutting them altogether in favor of one of these.
Maybe, but still doesn't seem like that great.
Yeah, they're not great, but they're actually interesting and do provide more additional choices for deck building.
Alright, what do you think about some kind of tempo slash secret aggro mage with both the new apprentice and the unraveler, the Nerubian one? So the 6 drop, kind of like having sort of 4 load
You
habs
do
in your
realize
deck.
that it's supposed to increase your secrets cost as well, and your
Oh yeah, right.
spell.
So where then? So
If you're not playing any spells, then it's good, but if you are, then it's actually not that great.
Zoo
Basically, I mean, it's a fine card,
or
uh,
Hunter.
but it's not as good as it seems. If it
So,
even seems good.
aggro decks without spells. So Hunter, Warlock Zoo. What else?
I mean, Warlock's 6 drop. Are we talking like doesn't really fit? You see.
Well, not for ladder, but probably for lineups.
Well, at least it's worth consideration. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Again, this is a sideboard card basically.
In a in a for in the game without sideboard.
Yeah, I mean, like
Tech card.
this is a tech card. You don't want to play it in the deck, but sometimes when you do, it's a card that helps against some of the matchups. So yeah.
Tech card. Well, you may have noticed all the memes with these skulking geist, and what it essentially does is that killing Jade's druid.
Yeah, well, again, tech card.
Yeah, if your deck is bad against Jade druid, just slam this in, and that's it. Well, not exactly, but it gives you a pretty good chance
The
if you draw it early.
Tomb Lurker is nice.
That too. Probably for that death rattles taunts druid, basically. That's the archetype that will need all those death rattles.
Oh, Corpse Taker is nice.
Uh, oh yeah.
It's actually quite strong. If you can fit if you can consistently get most of these into the deck, I think it seems like it should be some kind of paladin.
You know what you don't get?
Well,
Alakir in Shaman.
uh,
Wind Fury, Divine Shield, Taunt,
oh, okay, yeah,
and
yeah, Shaman or. I mean, other than that, Paladin probably has easiest time triggering Divine Shield and Taunt. Wind Fury is gonna be a problem for most non-shaman decks.
yeah.
But yeah, it's decent.
So Wild probably has good options, but does Standard currently have any good synergies with the Meat Wagon?
Uh,
So you get a Doomsayer, right? You get a Doomsayer.
okay.
That's pretty
Uh,
cool. You
is
can
there
just
any?
like yeah. Well, I think that's kind of enough.
Well, kind of. Yeah, maybe.
Okay, the Red Lunar Rascal is iffy,
Eh, yeah.
but could be good in arena, like tempo card.
Yeah, like most of these cards are decent arena fodder, but bad. Yeah.
Well, I kind of like the Bone Drake actually in constructed for Dragon Priest. It's alright. I think it's alright.
Uh, too random for my taste. I think there are better dragons.
But yeah, you're not gonna be too unhappy if you discover that with the 5 drop.
That's perfectly
Or the
fine.
well, not with the 5 with, I mean with the 2 drop.
Yeah. Mm. Corpse
Right.
Racer is meh.
Yeah.
I
Seems
mean,
like
okay, it's an effect that was exclusively Shaman in neutral, so it's fine, but yeah.
Right. The chain gang is kind of nice because basically you get 2 to 3 tons.
Yeah, seems quite strong.
It's like the wolves in shaman, but without the overload, and it's a neutral card, which probably will go into druid. That's the one that kind of needs more tons, like more good tons.
Phantom freebooter with the weapon decks, he's good.
Well, pirate
Like,
warrior, come on.
yeah, like I said, well, that's the obvious weapon deck.
Yeah.
I mean, you're actually quite. It's fine if you. It's
Did
pretty
we
decent
did
for any rogue deck.
let's go up a bit. I think we missed discussing the Forge of Souls, the warrior card. That's like for 2 mana you draw 2 weapons from your deck.
Yeah.
So again, pirate warrior. Just get your Arcanites Reapers and so on consistently.
Yeah. Well, this is. Yeah, I think it's probably gonna see quite a
And
decent
then
play.
Freebooter. The only good part about giving 2 extra good cards for the archetype, I mean for pirate warrior, is the fact that we might have a competitive taunts through it, which will just destroy that deck as well. Well, Taunt Warrior is not like that amazing against Pirate Warrior, but it's a positive matchup at least. And then if we get more taunt-oriented decks, then yeah, the weapon aggro is gonna have hard time. I actually like Abomination, but people kind of hate it, and I can understand them to an extent.
Well, I
But
think it's quite a good limited cards as I'm playing mostly arena. This is gonna be good in there, and it's overall, it's. I mean, if you are largely you're not playing a lot of creatures, then you're happy slamming 4 mana 5/6 in your deck.
right, what do you think about Happy Ghoul and Priest?
Not impressed. I mean, I would rather think about some lifesteal synergy and warlock.
Mm,
That's actually has more chances of happening because in priest you don't have any real self damage. Like a tech card, if your opponent is aggressive and you can consistently heal yourself on turn 2, then it's gonna be good. But other than that, it's mainly the warlock that's interesting.
yeah, but Warrior didn't get that much healing, but yeah, there are still some
No, but he
rituals.
can consistently self damage on turn to himself or turn 1 with coin. So if there is 1 mana healing for him to use,
And there
uh,
isn't. Well, Mistress, I mean, the one drop that heals 4 to both.
yeah, like I think they're like yeah, it's nice in priest, but you shouldn't forget it in warlock either.
Okay. Shallow Grave Digger. Well, it's okay.
I mean, it's fine. 3 mana. It's basically loot hoarder for the 3 mana.
Yeah, sort of. Well, no. Blood Hoarder was good, like, for a Freeze Mage, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as good, but and
Could be better. Could be
it's
better sometimes.
okay-ish. Yeah.
Mindbreaker, well,
It's tech card and one that's not particularly useful.
I kind of like it in aggro decks because then it switches off Warrior and Priest so they can't heal.
But 3 mana 2/5. Well, yeah, it's kind of 5, but I don't see it happening on ladder. Maybe on tournaments.
Alright. Bone Mirror typical arena cards, but pretty decent at that.
Yeah.
So now we enter actually a bunch of arena cards, I think. But the Death Pickers might see constructed play actually. The free drop.
You think? Well,
Well,
maybe
cause it's like
stats are
giving,
there.
it's like giving Divine Shield basically.
Yeah, stats are there, but and Immune is kind of better than Divine Shield. And Fallen Sun Cleric is actually quite good, I think.
The cleric? Oh,
It's
okay.
basically
Yeah,
Shattered Sun Cleric, but cheaper.
yeah. I think that's about it. We kind of mentioned the hero powers already. Didn't. Okay, so as far as I know, the new rogues hero power is quite alright, but it's a bit confusing now.
Yes, it is. It is very confusing.
Okay, we can remind people about it, I guess. Just open it separately, and so that we remind ourselves again of what it actually means.
So
So,
basically, whenever you play something that costs 5 or less, this transforms into it and you get it, and you can play it. It doesn't include discounts, but technically, if you have
I don't
preparation,
think there's
then
any
you
limitation. I don't think there's any limitation. I think it's like any.
no, it's there is no limitation. But if you play something that costs 6,
Yeah.
this will become a 6 cost card that you have no mana to play.
Right. Okay, I see it.
But okay, there are false coins, so technically you can cost even more expensive cards as well. But yeah. But if you oh, actually, the problem is if you play a 6 cost card and then play false coin, then this will become false coin. So there is that problem as well. I think there is going to be so much fails on stream when people take copy an event like 5, 6 or 7 mana event and then play preparation to play it again, like 6 cost event, like yeah, because this transforms into preparation.
Think of Yogg.
I mean, I don't want to think about him. Too much randomness, too much Cthulhu.
Imagine you spare a couple of those and then you cast Yogg, and then you have a couple more Yoggs.
Uh,
That would be hilarious.
I mean, how can you get multiple yokes from this one?
Well, wait. So you
You
add
can't.
you add this to your hand, so it's actually a card in your hand, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, right, right. No, okay, you can't get multiple ones, but you can get one more.
And no. Because doesn't Yogg cast the spells, so you actually you actually this will actually transform into whatever Yogg casts.
Right. Okay, that's good. I guess that's good to balance it out. Otherwise, it will make it
I'm
so
not sure
ridiculous.
how it's coded, but I would assume that way.
Hmm.
So this card is gonna cause so much confusion.
Ah, look at it this way. I know you with sprint, it's kind of sweet, but not too sweet because even if you go like prep into sprint, then the copy will still be just 7 mana because
Yes.
yeah.
And if you sprint and then prep, then you will get prep. As in this will, yeah,
No,
you cannot.
no. If you go sprint, no. If you go prep then sprint, then you get the sprint.
Yeah. You basically actually you can do double prep and sprint
Right,
and
and then
sprint.
and sprint, yeah, and then Yogg next turn.
Yes, Yogg. Yes.
All right. I think we can wrap it up here.
Yep.
Thanks for joining me. Until the next sale, bye,
Yeah.
folks.
See you. Bye.